at JSA, and welcome to the first Telecom Exchange London, our inaugural event here, co-located with Data Center Dynamics, Converged Europe. Joining me here today, we have the legendary Jay Lawrence. He's the CEO of Nexcom Wireless. Jay, welcome to Telecom Exchange London.
Well, thank you, Jamie, and it's great to be a legend in my own mind.
And in mine too, though.
Yeah, that's good. Your mind needs to be expanded, but that's okay.
So, Jay just got off the CEO roundtable with us, speaking about mobile connectivity. Something that I heard a lot during this conference was how critical and almost unrealized that carrier connectivity is to that infrastructure to support mobile growth. Your thoughts there?
Well, I said this on the panel. I like metaphors because I think it helps people to really identify with what's going on. And the one that I use on the panel, I'll use to answer your question. When I came out of school, and guys, I'm a nerd in a suit, not a legend, but I'm a nerd in a suit. And when I came out of school in that fashion, I worked for a company that was in robotics. And one of the things that the principal founder of that firm thesis in her MIT paper at 22 to get her PhD degree, one of the smartest people I've ever met, was that every time you tack on a sense to the human experience, the human's experience goes up not linearly, not additive, but exponentially. So you tack on, I can see you. All right, that's one. All right, but I can now hear you. So all of a sudden you're communicating. That's massively more important. You add smell, and then you add touch, and you add taste. When you're having a meal and you can't taste anything, I mean, it's really not much worth having that experience. Communication networks are very similar. There is an ambient-based thing, all right? If the network is alive, it can see. But if you start to add the need for it to touch, to feel, to taste, which is mobile carriers, it's security cameras, it's the Internet of Things, which we talked about in the panel, you start to tack on all this new fabric. By definition, you have to have a scale that is exponential. It's not going to be linear. You're going to have networks that will overlay each other. They'll overlay each other with repetitiveness in common technology, with complement in disparate technology, and that is not additive. By default, you're basically giving yourself availability, you're giving yourself bandwidth, you're giving yourself ways to respond and deal with things that happen with Mother Nature or other acts of mankind that are completely unpredictable. But if you don't have that exponential componentry underlying the bandwidth and capabilities of your network, ultimately you've gone down a track that is almost sure to fail because you're going to hit a threshold where all this stuff's going on at some static level, and then you have the burst. And you don't want to be the guy that's at the bottom of that burst, and all of a sudden you're the one that gets invited to the party.
So, Nexcom Wireless, doing big things as always. Can you tell us a little bit about your latest news and happenings?
So, yeah, we got a lot of things going on, and next time we meet, there's a few more things that I can say that I can't today. But what I will say is we have launched a number of new construction projects in the low latency space. We are actively building from Chicago out to Seattle. That will pick up a trans-Pacific subsea cable to Tokyo and open up the Asia-Pacific rim for us. That's a very massive build. It will actually dwarf our current largest network, which is the transatlantic that connects New York to London, obviously substantially larger. We're also doing some work in London here, and that's one of the reasons I'm actually out here, and that is we're going from central London up to Stockholm. There's a NASDAQ data center that we're going to be pulling into our orbit of networks, and then ultimately connecting to the Moscow exchange, which if you look at that from a footprint standpoint, we're now basically APAC all the way to Moscow, and most of the key things in between, which we intend to fill in through some other strategic initiatives over the next 12 months.
So Nexcom, APAC to Moscow, you heard it here. So looking into to 2016 and beyond, do you see any trends that we need to be on the lookout for? Any new opportunities in our telco ecosystem?
I see a couple of things. Trends are funny. It's sort of like trying to predict the future. I think on the panel someone said, where are we going to be in 5 years? My answer was,
Right. And that was very accurate.
Well, I'm a soothsayer. But if I look at trends that I think are relevant, and this also came out of a question about regulation.
Right.
I do think that there are problems that need to be solved under the basic description of the metaphor about exponential experience and exponential need network topology to accommodate what's changing in our world. some of the technologies that are going to solve that problem don't exist right now. And if you go back to 1979, no one thought that fiber optic would connect Los Angeles to New York. Now it's everywhere. We have friends of ours like Hunter building it all over the place. Eric, we just got done talking to him. He's building all over the subsea world in Latin America and the like. So you're going to have things that pop up that are going to be really relevant. I also think that there's going to be business model changes. I think that's going to be some consolidation. Take some legacy businesses and make them more efficient, and take things that are 1 + 1 = 3 and allow them to better collaborate to solve that exponential network structure that I described. I think there's going to be new businesses born out of innovation and technology creation and incubation that, again, we don't even know what that looks like today, but I do know in 5 years I'll be 5 years old.
And so for our viewers at home who want to learn more about Jay, the legend, and Nexcom Wireless, the legendary company, where can you tell us to go?
So yeah, website is www.nexcom.com. We got rid of the wireless because it was just too long.
Oh, very good. Nexcom.com. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in to JSA TV, and thank you, Jay, for coming on out.
My pleasure.